गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन। आज हमारे साथ एक ऐसे राइटर और थिंकर हैं who does not only write stories but questions the uncomfortable truths of India. ये एक पॉलिटिकल साइंटिस्ट भी हैं and his writings reflect history, democracy, all of it together. Please welcome Mujibur Rehman sir. Sir, let's go on air with Bookswagon where stories meet voices.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this invitation and look forward to the conversations.
सर आप एक पॉलिटिकल साइंटिस्ट भी हैं और ऑथर भी, तो आपके लिए राइटिंग पॉलिटिकल एनालिसिस से अलग कैसे बना?
You see, politics एक ऐसा चीज़ है जो कि हर इंसान has a day-to-day experience. You know, there are political discussions, there are political decisions that impact it. So it's very natural that one can do an analysis of politics. So ये जो किताब जो मैं लिख रहा हूँ, Shikwa-E-Hind, the political future of Indian Muslims, it directly addresses a very important political question with respect to Hindu-Muslim relations and the relations with respect to Indian state. And this is not something that is new. This has been a very, very old question in Indian political history. You know, there is always all kinds of conversations concerning history, say Mughal Empire and the rest that goes on. And even now, there is a conversation going on with respect to Somnath temple, for instance. So this conversation, Hindu-Muslim relations and the history of India with respect to Muslim rule and all of it is a very ongoing conversation. So this is part of that, and these are some of my thoughts I've shared over here in this book.
सर, तो आपकी बुक का टाइटल है शिकवा-ए-हिंद। तो ये जो शिकवा है, कंप्लेंट है, किन से है? सोसाइटी से, गवर्नमेंट से, किन से?
Well, Shikwa-E-Hind in generic sense, this is more about concerns with the state and society, right? And as you know that there are concerns of Muslims and Hindus and Christians and people of different communities and all of it. Yes, they are all citizens as part of Indian Constitution, but they also have their own community identity, religious identity, cultural identity, all of it. Sometimes because they are so different from each other, there are always some sort of tensions and interactions that takes place among all of them about it. That causes some concerns. So this book is all about concerns of Muslims in the contemporary times with regard to state behavior, with respect to other communities, with respect to perceptions of other communities towards Muslims and Muslims' perceptions to other communities, and where it's all leading to. These are some of the broad questions that the book is trying to address.
Sir, आज के generation में, how do you see democracy being functional in our country? How do you see that condition?
Yeah. You see, democracy is a very, very powerful idea, and it's also a very difficult idea to put into practice. I would like to make 3 specific comments. First, no society in the world could claim that they are completely democratic. Even the European countries, those who claim to be the custodians of democracy and want to export democracy to other countries like America or England, they are also not perfect. There are many questions with respect to democracy. Democracy, the initial conception is about self-governance. And often what happens, there are a lot of people in the name of self-governance, a small minority takes over the power and they rule it. That's the first part of it. No society is completely democratic. This is an ongoing experiment, and that is going on in different parts of the world. And India is one of the big countries with a long history and huge population, diverse population with a lot of differences in languages and other challenges such as economic poverty and others, is also trying to participate in that experiment. Okay, so it is natural that when you are such a mammoth and massive country and you are experimenting on a new idea, there are challenges. So that is one part of it. Second thing that we need to keep in mind is this, that there is a difference between something called electoral democracy and substantive democracy or non-electoral democracy. People often combine democracy with elections. They often say, well, election is happening, so this is democracy, right? So that's a very simplified definition of democracy, right? Election is one of the mechanisms through which democratic spirits and decisions are conveyed. But that is not the only mechanism. Like say society to be democratic, there are other things that has to also put into practice, such as rights of people. Right? One of the important and distinguishing feature of democracy compared to monarchy, compared to authoritarianism, compared to military dictatorship, is that people have rights. Just because that a king does not like somebody, he can execute and kill somebody. In democracy, you cannot do that. You have to go through. There is a procedure. Everyone in democracy happens to be equal in the eyes of law. Right? It does not matter which caste, which religion, which family, which region you belong to. You are a citizen of the country, so you are equal. So, on the one hand, India has done an extremely impressive job, being such a massive country on the front of electoral democracy. But there are still a lot of things to achieve in the substantive democratic fields, right? With respect to women's rights, for instance, with respect to achieving, opportunities for everybody. We are also a country with a lot of unemployments and all of it. A lot of educated people often don't find desirable employments about it. So those are also democratic part of democratic expectations, right? In democracy, you expect that because you cannot have a dignified life unless you have a decent employment, right? Unless you have a consistent income, right? So on that particular front, India has not been able to really satisfy everybody. So there are of course concerns, and of course even in a local democracy we have in India, because we are a democracy, we have a vibrant debate going on. There are some political parties who are happy with it. There are other political parties who are not happy with it. So we have a day-to-day discussions going on, which is very good, because at least people are airing their views, right? Sometimes those views not necessarily mean that those views are always based on facts. Sometimes there are wrong facts. Sometimes there are manipulations. Let's recognize it, but that conversation is always important, right? The third thing is this: some of us who live in India or live in democratic country, we some other believe that this is a very ordinary thing and it's a very everybody practices. That's not true. A large part of the world are not democratic. In large part of the world, there are no elections that is taking place. In large part of the world, even if elections are taking place, they are often premeditated, often managed, often rigged, and all of it. Right? So for instance, China is a big society, but they don't hold any elections, whereas we hold elections, spending thousands and thousands of crores of rupees, both to the government and the political parties. But it's one of the most expensive, political exercise that takes place in the world. So let's recognize, even if as an ideology, as an ideal, democracy is a very superior idea, it has only attracted a very small number of nations. You have a whole Middle Eastern countries, they don't hold democracies. Arab countries don't have any democracy. You have African countries, most of them do not have elections regularly. But you have also East Asian countries like Taiwan and others, they don't hold elections about it. So it is yet to become a universal phenomenon. Even if it is ideologically, in terms of ideal, it is one of the finest idea, but its history is very, very young, and there are still a lot of challenges and very lot of few recipients who have accepted it as a normal practice. And we are one of them. But we should be very proud of it. And I think more and more we do well and we try to present ourselves as an example, that would be the source of inspiration for other countries, including countries within our own neighborhood, say Burma, for instance, in Pakistan, for instance, or Bangladesh, for instance. They are all facing challenges in their own democratic practices, even in their electoral practices, right? One of the reasons why the Bangladesh government was thrown out, because they suspected that the election that took place before was not appropriate and legitimate, was not perfect. That's why there was anger. That's why that led to it. So these are all important attributes and aspects of conversations in democracy, on which we need to accept it.
Sir, like you spoke about minority rights, minority politics in your books as well.
Yeah.
So currently there are many ongoing incidents regarding the same issue all over the country, all over the world, but yes, majorly
In
in our
South Asia
country.
also, yes, in other
Yes.
countries.
So do you think we are giving a chance to the critical voices?
Yeah, minority rights is a very crucial component of democratic practice, right? Because democracy is fundamentally based on the idea of majority rule. So when a society has got majorities and minorities, sometimes it so happens the majorities have a natural say in terms of enabling a win of their side, right? So obviously minorities might not be able to have a voice. So it is important to provide minorities rights in order to supplement their otherwise limited number in this competition about it. But unfortunately, what has happened is this. Often, lot of cultures or societies with majorities, they often somehow or other believe that since they have a majority, minorities should not have any rights or minorities should not have any say, or their expectations, their desires or their agendas or their requirements should be secondary. First let us fulfill our wants and then we will see if we can do it about of it. And they should always respect us about of it, right? So we are coming across that in India, particularly in our neighboring countries, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh recently, people of Hindu religion which are of minority, so they are also facing a lot of challenges. There are a lot of violence that has been taking place against them, violence of extreme kind, which leading to death and killing and all of it. So this is very unfortunate, right? Because human life should not be destroyed just because that you have a disagreement on a particular thing. After all, people follow different religions all over the world. Even Indians are going to live in America and they live safely. Many of them live safely and pursue their career and all of it. All over the world, when you look at it, the world is moving in towards diversity. People of different religions are living together. People in Australia, people in Europe, people in England, people in Canada, people in America. So we come across that many Indians are migrating and many well-educated Indians. They are not poor Indians who are going there. Many well-educated Indians who are migrating there and often occupying very top positions. Say in American corporates today, there are a lot of Indians who are holding the top positions, whether it's in Google or Microsoft or Apple. They're all Indians or people of Indian origin who are heading for Pepsi Cola once, all of that about of it. So what has happened is this: there is people have natural talent and people are working hard to achieve and fulfill their ambitions. So they should be respected because they bring so many things. So being minority as Indian diaspora, they are also bringing a lot to American society. Likewise, Hindu people who are living in Bangladesh, they can also bring a lot of good things to their society. For instance, there are many Hindu players who are doing extremely well in Bangladesh cricket. Right, the captain happens to be a Hindu gentleman, Mr. Das. So likewise in India, there are all Muslims and Christians and Sikhs and Jains and others. So minority rights is a very natural thing because people keep moving. So some who are, for instance, there are in most parts of India, Hindus are a majority, but in Kashmir, Hindus are a minority, right? And in Northeast, Hindus are a minority. So it's important that people should recognize mutual respect for all of that. And if you do that, then the society becomes better. And the democratic nature of the society becomes far more stronger and contributory to building a better society.
So I'd like to ask one last question. So usually readers avoid such uncomfortable topics we see, but you actually delved into one huge uncomfortable topic. So do you think our generation actually listens to these dissent voices or they tolerate it?
Well, I do understand that there are a lot of people who feel uncomfortable to talk about politics, talk about questions of the kind that I am raising in my book. But the fact is that they are all realities. The question is this: that if there are realities, you cannot resolve the realities by avoiding it. Suppose you have a cancer in your body, the best way is not to talk about it. The best way is to go to the doctor and figure it out and then follow the prescriptions. Then you could be able to cure it, right? Likewise, if there are serious issues in society, even if they are related to conflicts, even if they are little bitter, it is important to engage with that. That is the only way that you could be able to resolve it. By avoiding, you may be able to overcome this for a temporary, for a short period of time, but in the end, the issues remain. Right? So, these conversations about Pakistan, Bangladesh, Muslims, Hindus, they are all very normal conversations. Our entire history is part of it. And these questions are not going to go away just because that I wrote a book or after 20 years. These questions are going to be there about it because people have questions in their mind. You may agree or disagree with them. It is important, therefore, to participate in that conversation. That conversation provides you a platform to at least move towards a very positive resolutions of it, and therefore contributing to the democracy and understanding of it. It is important that one has to develop that understanding or self-understanding of these issues. And that's only possible when people write and read and participate and all of it. So I am open to the questions, no matter how uncomfortable they are. I am willing to take it and answer what I think is right. And if I am not right, if I am wrong, if there is somebody who will provide me an answer and say, oh, you are not right, this is a factual thing, mistakes that you have made, or here are the new facts, I'm going to change my view based on the new facts. If I'm convinced that those new facts are really new facts, and that revision of my mind. And I think that we should all be open to that idea. And that is how democratic reasoning takes place, and public reasoning takes place, and society moves forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insights. Any last thing you want to tell our readers?
No, I will urge all of you to read my book and buy it. And if you have any questions or anything, you can always reach out to me through Facebook and Twitter account. I have an active Twitter account on Facebook where I can answer. And if you have opportunities where you want to invite me to have a conversation, please do reach out to Volkswagen and to my publisher Simon Schuster, to Abhay Singh, and he can always arrange a meeting with you. And as I said, this is an important political question. This is a question that is discussed in the parliament, in the media, almost every day, in every session. So this question is something that you cannot simply push under the carpet and forget about it. It's a question that is going to be there. So it is better to engage with it. So I recommend one of the ways of doing it by reading my book. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for being with us here.
Hi guys, this is Mujibur Rehman. I am the author of this book called Shikwa-E-Hind, The Political
ये बोल
Future
के आना पड़ेगा
of Indian Muslims, published by Simon Schuster.
कि
This book is
अगर
marketed
साइड
and
को कुछ चाहिए तो
available
ये
by Volkswagen, and I encourage you to buy this book. It was bestseller in Amazon, and it is going to be translated into a number of regional languages, in Malayalam, in Hindi, in Kannada, in Bengali, and others. So there are a lot of interest in this particular book, and this book addresses a burning question of Indian politics today. So I would urge all of you to come to Volkswagen and buy a copy. Thank you.